I'm Beth, otherwise known in the knitting community by about 4 people as Bugsy the Knitter. We're about over halfway through February, and I thought it'd be fun to post an update as to what I'm knitting, what I'm working on, what I'm reading, what I got done, and some things that I purchased from Gary Rides Gary Knits De-Stash for Life fundraiser. So, first, I've been going to our library a lot, and I checked out this book. It's called Knitlandia by Clara Parks, and I love it. She's got a beautiful way with words. Her travels, I think I'm on the second chapter now. It's interesting to read about her traveling. One of the things that I do. So whenever I travel somewhere, I like to buy souvenir yarn. Wink, wink. And then I typically knit or save it in my stash for a very long time. Then I have a permanent memory of the place. I also put it in my own like knitting journal, which is kind of odd, but it is what it is. So first, that's what I'm knitting, or that's what I'm reading. I recently finished this Myrtle Tea, which I still need to block, but I'm planning on doing some blocking this weekend. I need to use the toddler's bathtub, but it's absolutely lovely. It's by Knitwear by Joan, and she is soon having her book come out, so I will post a link to her information. I was super excited. She was my first test knit that I engaged in doing. I always wondered where people got their models from, but now I know. It's from the internet. Other people do their knitting. I am also working on the Maxine Cardi. I posted a picture of this a few days ago. It's by Jimmy Knit. So all of these details are motifs that she got inspiration from her mini. And I actually went by the mini showroom today, and I think I might go and take some sneaky pictures there without purchasing a mini when I'm done knitting this. So I had to do one more repeat. I thought I was done, and I was very excited to be done with the first sleeve and started the ribbing, but then it hit me about there. So I was like, dang it. So I tinked it back. I'm doing one more motif. I think I've got one row of white, and then I get to do my stocking stitch for 1.5 inches. And also shout out to my son's Dottie. She bought me this beautiful basket, which I've been using for my color work knitting. So super love that. What else am I working on? I am rapidly working on this for my daughter. She's almost 2. And so I'm working on the dress with this Care Bear fabric that I bought before she was even born. And this is the largest size that this pattern comes in. So I'm frantically getting it done so she can wear it for a few months. But I'm super impressed with myself and the darts, pleats, I don't know. Whatever that little bodicey bit is called, pretty pleased with that. The neckline's not too bad. The zip could be better. But you know, it'll do. I'm learning. And then I just need to do the armholes, add on this other second section that exists for a reason I'm not quite sure, because I kind of like this length, but I've already cut it, so I'll finish it. So those are most of the things that I'm working on right now. And then what I bought. I went to my local yarn store, Tempe Yarn and Fiber, and bought this wash, which is how I'm going to block this. And then later on the Maxine Cardi. But because I was there and all the funny objects floating around in the sky, I bought this little skein of neon-y odds and ends. It's one of the yarns that you can buy from Tempe Yarn and Fiber, where they weigh it or you pay for it by the ounce. So I'm planning on knitting a little alien, because there's like gray objects in the sky, and that's kind of odd, right? As a huge X-Files fan, I'm kind of like, ooh, because I do want to believe, but who knows? So, with the De-Stash for Life, one of the things that Gary Knits, Gary Rides does is he does these fundraisers because he's doing the Ride for Life. And this Sunday I might be doing the mini fundraising event here in Arizona. But so there was this great auction. It was open for I think 2 weeks, and I've been on some things. I missed out on the Malabrigo that I really, really wanted, because who doesn't really, really want Malabrigo? But that's okay. It's all for a good cause. And so one of the things that I got was this denim cotton recycled. So I'm thinking about making a pinafore for my daughter, which is kind of old school, but I'm planning on it being used out in the garden. She likes to garden with me or pick up rocks and pretend to garden. So I like that it's recycled. I like I found the pattern in a book that I'm going to use, and it's pretty big. I do use pink for her clothing, which is funny because I'm a very inclusive person, and so a lot of people, because I didn't tell anybody what her sex was when I was pregnant with her, assumed that I was going to not allow my daughter to wear pink. I do allow her to wear pink. She gets to pick out colors, but I try to, since I want to make a lot of her clothes, I try to stick to a color palette. So like pink, blue, teal, gray. So then when I knit things, I can knit them to be bigger. So as she grows, they grow with her. So a lot of the cardigans that I've made for her are top down. So I can rip some of them, rip out the hems and things like that, extend them as they go. I did a couple top-down sweaters for my son that could also have the sleeves and the ribbing built in, so then later on they could be ripped out and extended to get some extra use. So I do dress her for the most part within a color palette, but as grandparents send her gifts and other family members and friends give her clothes, she's clearly allowed to wear them, but for knitting purposes and sustainability, I try to really keep within a color palette for the things that I purchase for her. So I saw this dusty rose and I was like, ooh, that will work well for her. Not really an unboxing video, but still fun. So this was another wool that I purchased. It is Chicken Coop Dye Works. It's called Chicken Feet. Not a fan of eating them, but and we're actually getting a chicken coop. Well, my husband's building a chicken coop right now, and so we're gonna have chickens because egg prices. But so now we're getting. I like this. I really like yellow. It doesn't really show up, but I have horrible melasma, and I have since I was about 15, 16 years old, and I had a family member once tell me, you shouldn't wear yellow, you look horrible in yellow, but I'm going to wear, I don't know, it's something about almost being 40 where I don't care anymore what people say about certain things. So even though yellow may sometimes look a bit harsh on my skin, I don't care, I like yellow, it's a bright color. So I also have a really awesome brown that I can mix with this, so I feel like I just want to make a whole bunch of like top-down cardigans and tops. But who knows? But it's got 400 yards, 450 meters, something like that. So that's going to be super cool, so I'm excited about adding that to the stash. So that's my second one. I also got another pink. Considering almost everything I knit is blue, I thought that would be fun. I've got a gray that I want to kind of mix this with. But so this is Ella Ray Merino. Oh, it's machine washable. Didn't realize that. Love that. 420 meters, 460 yards. So I could, in theory, knit myself a top out of this. Might be a stretch, but that's what my stash is for. Also, how cool is this bag? It's compostable, and we compost, so that makes me excited. And then here's Manos. When I first started buying yarn from an American yarn store, I was so excited to discover Manos. I was like, ooh, super luxury yarn. Considering I've been knitting with a lot of Patons, Astra, and other like just blends growing up from England, it was really exciting to like see what a luxury yarn was like. So when I saw these, and like, I don't know, these could be something lovely together. It's got a good amount of squish, which I'm a big fan of squish. So yeah, I also got these out of the auction. So kind of spoiled myself a little bit. And then to wrap up the pink thing that I have going on, I also got this. So there's so many different conversations about sustainability, which I try to do the best that I can. I know there's always room to do better. There's the ethics behind, you know, having wool and natural fibers as opposed to recycled fibers. I do want to start doing way more with recycled fibers, and I actually went through a whole bunch of t-shirts. I'm like, I'm not going to wear these again. They're too crappy to like nobody else wants to wear my old cycling shirts like this one, Day Drinker Devil Ride. Also, going on a day drinking devil ride mountain bike ride when you're 3 months postpartum, probably was not the best idea that I ever had. But that was a year and a half ago now, so it's fine. But so I have a bunch of these t-shirts, and I'm going to try and make t-shirt yarn. I want to try and repurpose as much as I can. I want to embrace slow fashion more, which I don't know. It takes time and it's a thing, but I'm working. But so this growing up, like I loved in England, like wool / yarn blends seemed to just be a thing, and so I really liked the convenience of having this. Has 840 meters in it, 920 yards. I can knit an entire garment out of one ball of yarn / wool. So I really love that, and I'm excited to knit with this. This is not for my daughter, this is for me. I'm thinking cables, I'm thinking top down, maybe raglan style, right? Because I'm not actually going to knit extra sleeves and set them in. That is not my jam. Those objects typically just kind of like hang out for a few years. So yeah, so that's what I'm reading, what I'm knitting, what I purchased, which I really need to not purchase anything more for a while because I have lots of things on the go. I've got some things planned. My baby has a birthday coming up, so I have something I want to make for her. I've got something on the needles for my husband. So who knows if he even watches this all the way through, but I'd hate to spoil that, even though I think he knows what it is because it was supposed to be part of his Christmas present. But yeah, so I will, Gary Knits, Gary Rides. I believe he still has a little bit more to fundraise for his benefit. It's a super awesome ride for people living with AIDS, and so to support people living with AIDS, and it supports the LGBTQ plus community, which is super important considering like the current state of America and the world as far as LGBTQ plus rights go. So I'll link that below in case you're interested in supporting Gary's ride. And yeah, this is my first real type of video trying to do this. Hopefully it'll get better, and I'll use my microphone soon once I figure that out. So thanks for checking this out. Bye!